guys, welcome to the channel. I hope you all are good. Welcome to another astrology video. So astrology and how astrology works. So when I read a birth chart is like a screenshot of the sky when a person was born, and the placement of the stars, the asteroids, and the planets together combined, they tell the story of your life through the stars. So today we will be talking about, or rather reading, Senzo Meyiwa's birth chart. I only thought it was fair to read his birth chart since I read Kelly Kumalo's birth chart. I just felt like to balance the energies, I should just do his birth chart too. I hope you enjoy. So let's get into this birth chart. So Senzo Meyiwa was born on the 24th of January 1987 in Durban, which makes him an Aquarius sun and a Scorpio moon, and also an Aquarius Mercury. So I thought when I looked at his charts, one thing that grabbed my attention was the fact that he is a Aries Mars. This is a very solid marker of someone who is an athlete, because Mars is your drive and your stamina and your ambition, and then Aries is your body. So with Aries on the 10th degree, it shows someone who is a professional athlete. And he also has his Mars conjunct his North Node in Aries. This shows that Senzo was on his destiny with sports. Definitely he was a destined sports person or athlete. Like, he was always going to do whatever job he was going to do. If it wasn't sports, it was always going to be a physical job, something that needs him to use his physical strength, because he had so much physical strength with that Mars in its natural home of Aries. So that was very destined for him to be in sports. And had he lived longer, I believe he was going to be very successful in that, like in sports, and possibly that conjunction right there, the Mars and the True Node conjunction definitely is a mark of someone who is going to be legendary in sports. Like, his skills were going to be talked about for years and years to come. This shows someone who is blessed. This conjunction, it shows someone who's blessed with just stepping into their destiny pretty early on in life, with their Mars being things that one is naturally driven to do. So he didn't have a hard time understanding or knowing what he wanted to do with his life. This placement can also show someone who is called this lifetime to follow their passions, because Mars is passion and drive and just being selfish about the things that you want, not in a bad way, but rather just putting yourself first, being a leader and just being a pioneer, just being very groundbreaking with the way you live your life. So this can also show someone who was definitely very driven and brave. He was someone who was very driven and brave. And it can also show someone who is here to be a pioneer, here to be the start, the first one to do things. So with him being a sports person or an athlete, he was going to break a lot of like records in his career. Um, with Mars supporting the North Node, he was going to be one of those athletes who have very long careers. Like he was going to have a long career and a very good body. Like his body was going to sustain him and sustain his career. With also his true node on the 14th degree, it shows someone who is going to be loved and revered for his contribution to sports with that Venetian degree, because Venus is all about love and being loved. He had a south node in Libra, so a north node in Aries. That's the energy that he was definitely supposed to step into and learn how to be comfortable and work with this lifetime. That was very easy for him because his natural drive was towards his destiny. So that was a gift on his part. So with his south node, he has a south node in Libra. This can indicate someone who comes from past lives of being committed to other people through relationships, relationships and partnerships and work, or maybe like work contracts, relationships in the sense that marriage, because Libra rules marriage, and also it could be relationships, any kind of relationships, because it also rules over every other relationship, and it also rules obligation to others through contracts. So he might come from lifetimes where he just was held down by either marriage or having these very complex contracts, or having just very close ties to his associates and people that he was in relation with, that he had so much responsibility, he could not put himself first. He was always obligated to working on a relationship of sorts. So it also, this placement shows me that he was someone who came from, this placement shows definitely that it shows someone who comes from a two-parent household, because marriage, it has been in their childhood. Like they grew up in a marriage household, yeah. But then also, that Libra south node indicates someone who comes from a two-parent household, but that Venus in Sagittarius can show that even though his parents were married, there was a lot of infidelity on the father's part with that Venus in Sagittarius. Venus is love, relationships, and then Sagittarius is all about exploring. It's all about variety, going out there, finding more interesting things. So it's like a very curious sign in that sense. So yeah, that's a thing. So this can show also someone who comes into this lifetime having a lot of karma with the institution of marriage. So they might come from lifetimes of having marriages, and they're so used to them that there's like a lot of karma there with marriage. This also explains his own marriage with Umamkizi. So yeah, it explains how everything played out. He was probably not someone who was meant to get married this lifetime with. Libra South nodes, these people they come into this lifetime not really needing to commit to other people. They come into this lifetime needing to grow a relationship with themselves. So yeah, that explains that whole dynamic with his marriage. So also with that South Node and then his Venus in Sagittarius, it shows someone who dated a lot. It shows someone who dated a lot and dated all people from all walks of life. He was not discriminating. He wanted variety. That's just a Sagittarian energy. And with his true north node trining his Venus, this tells me that he was going to love women more as his career flourished. So the more he got successful, the more women. Because also Sagittarius is very indulgent and Venus is very indulgent in itself. So yeah, like that was his indulgent. Also, again, taking into account that majority of the times with artists, you'll find that they indulge in drugs and alcohol and all these substances, plus women. But with athletes, they don't have the luxury to indulge in substances. So usually majority of athletes go around having all kinds of relationships and sexual pleasures because that's what they can do to pleasure themselves outside of substances. So that's something to consider. Also, with his North Node trining his Venus, this also shows he was going to be loved even in foreign countries and foreign lands for his skills and contribution to sports. So he was going to be a very big deal. He was at some point going to leave the country and play overseas with also his certain conjunct Venus. So yeah, also again, he has his Mars square Neptune in Capricorn. This shows he had a lot of secret affairs at work, and it showed someone who had a lot of one night stands. Cause because Mars represents your sex life, and then Neptune represents secret activities. So with those in Capricorn, Neptune in Capricorn, it shows secret activities at work. So with that Mars, it's sexual secret activities at work. Moving on, with that Mars and the 10th degree, forming a quincunx with Pluto on the 9th degree, it can indicate someone who was coaxed or coerced into an illusion with that Pluto on that 9th degree as a result of his undying sexual thirst. Like, it was that undying sexual thirst led him into a very big trap, the biggest trap of his life. And that Pluto square sun indicates someone dying at a relatively young age. That placement, Pluto square sun, definitely indicates someone who will lose their lives at a young age. And with his Pluto forming a quincunx to his Mars, shows someone who might die from a gun, since Mars represents weapons and bullets. With the Pluto also conjuncting his moon, this shows it was a woman behind his death, because the moon represents the mother, the woman, the feminine energy. And then also again with his Mars squaring his Neptune, it indicates conspiracy surrounding his death. Because definitely Mars square Mercury is conspiracy. With also his Uranus conjunct the Neptune, this indicates that his friends and large associations in the industry are involved in the conspiracy, like the groups that he was associated with as a result of his fame know exactly what's up. Also, again, with his moon conjunct Pluto, that conjunction forming a quincunx to his Mars conjunct North Node, this outright means or indicates someone whose destiny was stolen or taken by a woman with that moon influence there. He met at work with the Mars in the 10th degree. And the woman, it showed, like, also with the Pluto influence, they can show that the woman was a very strong Plutonic energy. And with the previous reading of his previous girlfriend, yeah, you can put two and two together. So yeah, that was very interesting. I was like, okay, I'm very surprised. Okay, not surprised, but yeah, it's very interesting to see it on the birth chart and how it plays out. So yes, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Help me grow the channel, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.